I can say.
Okay, actually your voice got cut. I could not hear you properly. I just heard giving all crops all the same kind of management. I
Yes,
could not
ma'am.
hear. So that's all that you
Yes, ma'am.
said?
That's what I said. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, great, fine. Okay. Anybody else who would like to contribute? Kavya, Kirtana, Naisha, Ronak, Veda?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, please do.
Yes, ma'am. Crop means the same plant grown at a particular place, and crop production means, ma'am, handling it and uh, make it to grow so that we can use it for commercial or a personal purpose. And then,
Okay.
and we can
Okay.
do it by irrigation, harvesting, and all that processes.
Okay, okay, good. So, you know, what I see is that many of you would have a fair idea of what it is, right? But, you know, let's start from the beginning. You know, if we have to say that let's start from the beginning, let's start from when, you know, mankind began, right? So if we have to go that back, right? So what would, you know, initially, when there were cavemen or early men, you know, what were they basically? They were basically hunters and gatherers, right? So initially they started with being gatherers, right? What is the meaning of gatherers? Veda, what is the
I'm
meaning
someone
of?
who collects stuff.
Yes, correct. Somebody who gathers stuff or collects stuff. Gather. So what did they gather?
Ma'am, to collect.
Correct, to collect. So what did they collect or what did they gather? Food.
Ma'am,
Yes,
to
Veda.
Fruits.
Yes, correct. Food, crops, right? So in those days, you know, the crops, the concept of crops were still not there. So what they did is that, you know, for example, we know that early men, you know, they made a little bit of a territory, they marked a little bit of a territory for themselves, right? Where, you know, they lived along with their friends and family, right? So they were, you know, they used to live in dense forests, there were trees and animals and, you know, a water body all over. So, you know, they made little bit of huts or, you know, settlements. And then they, you know, if there were fruits here, if there were a few shrubs which they could manage to eat and herbs, if there were animals, you know, they caught hold of those animals they had, if there was honey with a beehive in a close by tree. So they basically gathered everything. And once this entire area, you know, all the food was over, then they switched over to the nearby water body. And they, you know, gathered fishes and others, animals, you know, creatures, marine or aquatic creatures that they gathered and they ate. But, you know, after, you know, maybe a year or so, this entire area will go abundant because by then, you know, they would have exhausted everything. So many people, you know, 20, 30 people eating, you know, in this place for 7, 8 months. So then they would shift to another place, make a settlement out there, right? And then again do the repeat the same thing over there also, right? So, you know, after doing this continuously for several years, several generations, they got a little tired, they got a little fed up of things, say thinking that, you know, we never have a permanent house, we never have a permanent property. Why do we keep on shifting like nomads? So they started calling themselves nomads, nomadic life. You know, they kept on traveling. So that is when, you know, they thought that, you know, why do we shift? Why do we move from one place to the other? It is just because of food, just to gather food, right? So why don't we start cultivating food, right? So that is when, you know, when once, you know, they were just having certain food, you know, the seeds might have just popped out and then, you know, fell on the soil, and, you know, on repeated watering, they just found that, you know, that seed has a capacity to give out a new plant. They found that out by then. And that is when, you know, they started doing a very methodical or a very organized way of growing plants and trees and shrubs, right? So that is when, you know, that is how actually, you know, for them to avoid or for them to stop traveling, they started growing plants, trees for their own use, right? So that is how agriculture began. That is how agriculture began, and that is how farming also began. Correct? So this is the first step that humankind took towards farming, right? Now, what are crops then? What is the proper definition of crops?
Ma'am, a plant specifically grown in large amount at a particular place.
Very good, very good. So, you know, there are certain plants, trees, herbs, shrubs, which are grown in huge amount. The key word here is huge amount, right? So once they are grown in a huge amount and they are grown in a very disciplined and a very organized manner, that's known as crops. And it's also seen that crops are those which are of use to the humankind, right? So ऐसा नहीं है कि they would just start growing what do you say just like a people tree. They would take care and they would have acres and acres of lands of people tree. No, they would rather plant rice, paddy, for that matter also mango, have mango orchards, have guava, apple, grapes, anything and everything that would come of use to the humankind, for which they could get cash, which they could sell, buy and earn money. So there are three keywords. One is huge, right? In huge area, huge amount. The second is it has to be of use. Third, which would help them in earning money, so which would yield cash, right? So when I say of use, this of use could be various reasons. This could come of various uses. What are the uses?
Vegetables, lentils.
Yeah, so that is one category, food. What other categories do we have? So basically we do crops for, one is for food, under which, we have fruits, we have veggies, right? We have cereals,
Industrial
pulses.
materials like rubber.
Very good. Yes. Industrial. Yes. So we have rubber, we have cotton, right? So under industrial we can have textiles. What else?
Ma'am, as fuel.
Fuel. So which thing do we use as fuel?
Ma'am, biogas, which is made of cow dung and that.
Yeah, but then again we don't, those are not crops. I'm talking about crops.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Medicinal.
Medicinal. There you go. Medicinal. Right? So medicinal. Yes.
And for making paper.
Paper, that would be more of a byproduct. We would not just do a farming just for making paper. That we would anyways get from, cutting trees, any tree, and, we can yield paper from there.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm just asking for the broad divisions. One is food, one is medicine, one is industries. What else?
Ma'am, as commercial purpose.
Yes, so this is commercial. Everything is commercial. Commercial, what does commercial mean? Commercial means anything that you sell to get money. So everything is commercial. So the most important thing is horticulture. Right? What is horticulture? Flowers. Isn't it? There are acres of lands, acres of cultivation that is being done just so that, we get beautiful flowers and that can be sold worldwide, globally. There are places in Bangalore, West Bengal, in the hills of Kalimpong, Darjeeling, Himachal Pradesh, where they grow exotic flowers. So they have proper, they have flowers, they have succulents, they have cactuses. So horticulture is a big industry. Right? Medicinal plants, growing medicinal plants. Yes, cotton also with us, which comes under industrial. So cotton, jute, rubber, they would all come under industrial. So these are a few reasons or, which are of use why we grow crops. Of course, all of them are for commercial purpose only. Right? So is that clear to all? Whatever we discussed till now? Which would be byproducts? Cotton? No, cotton is not a byproduct. We grow cotton. Cotton jutes are not byproduct. These are like, we are growing cotton just to take cotton, nothing else. We grow jute just to take jute, nothing else. Yes, jute leaves are also being cooked and eaten, but the purpose to grow jute is just to take jute, derive jute fiber from there and make fabric.